This is the sound of your ride home with Dad after he caught you vaping. Awkward, isn't it? Most vapes contain seriously addictive levels of nicotine and disappointment. Know the real cost of vapes. Brought to you by the FDA.
How would you like a 15% discount to my daily email, the stack of stuff, the show notes, discounts to the conference, all of that? All you need to do is text the word show to 33777. You'll get the annual subscription with a 15% discount to my daily email. You'll get the stack of stuff, the links to the show notes, discounts to the conference, and so much more. All you have to do is text the word show, SHOW, to 33777. Text show to 33777.
Welcome to the Eric Erickson Show podcast, Hour 1.
My fellow Americans, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States of America. The phone number, if you want to be on the program, 877-973-7425. I am delighted to have you here. And I don't want to spend a lot of time on this day. I don't want to cry on the radio. I just want to note, many of you have been very long-time listeners of this program. And 8 years ago, my wife and I were told she had 2 years to live and would never see her kids graduate from high school. And tonight, my wife will watch our oldest child walk across a high school graduation stage and get her diploma and turn her tassel. What a time to be alive. Also, thank you, Big Pharma, that gets a big, nasty reputation from people who have access to grind. Thanks to the medicine she's on, the cancer has not progressed, and here we are. An amazing time to be alive. Well, I'll spend more time on that later. Right now, though, we've actually got really big, important news we need to talk about. Joe Biden has decided to declare executive privilege on the special counsel's investigation and the special counsel's report. Really interesting to me that he has decided to go this route, in large part because we already have the transcript, which makes it dubious as to whether or not he should do it. Except, I want to play for you some audio. This is very important. This is the White House legal counsel from February talking about Joe Biden and the special prosecutor's report.
3, he didn't exert executive privilege over any contents of the report. He was transparent. He had nothing to hide.
He did not exert executive privilege over any portion of the special counsel's report. He had nothing to hide. Apparently, by the White House legal counsel's own standards, Joe Biden does have something to hide. What he has to hide is they don't want you hearing Joe Biden himself. The president, according to his team, says Merrick Garland is the one. The attorney general advised him to exert executive privilege because they were afraid Republicans would selectively excerpt. The problem here is that Republicans don't need to selectively excerpt. All they got to do is run the audio over the transcript. That's not a selective excerpt. That's putting it in proper context. That's what they're worried about. If you will recall, what the White House said was it was the audacity of the special counsel to bring up Beau Biden's death. How dare he? That's what they said. And then when the transcript was released, it turned out it was Joe Biden himself who brought up Beau Biden's death. And then when the special counsel asked him about Beau Biden's death, he couldn't remember any of the details. Couldn't remember the year he died, couldn't remember the month he died, couldn't remember any of that stuff. Joe Biden opened the door to it. All the special counsel did was probe it once those questions were asked. It's kind of remarkable, actually. They're covering this up. Now, remember, Joe Biden refused to grant Donald Trump executive privilege over White House visitor logs. They said that nobody needed executive privilege over this sort of stuff, particularly stuff that was already known. Well, the transcript is out there based on Joe Biden's own standard. It should be released because it's already known. We know what he said. We know how he said it. We see the ellipsis. They just don't want you to hear the confusion. That's what this is about. They don't want you to hear the confusion. They say, and let's just be honest here, the American media is going to carry water for Joe Biden on this issue. They're going to carry water. They're going to say, yes, you know, AI and those nasty Republicans in Fox News, they're going to take Joe Biden out of context. They're going to mix his words up and they're going to make him sound awful. Never mind that they could do their jobs and actually just show the transcript and show the lies. They're not going to do that. Even on Twitter now, you have little comment boxes when people do stuff that's not true. These little boxes show up under the post and say, hey, this isn't true. Here's what actually happened, to shut down misinformation and disinformation. They're not really worried about that, but that's the excuse for the press. The folks at CNN and MSNBC, the New York Times, and the rest, they will carry the water for Joe Biden to say, well, the White House is worried that if Donald Trump gets a hold of this, he's going to run ads that selectively excerpt and take out of context what Joe Biden actually said. But it's not true. That's just the spin for the reporters. The truth is that they don't want you to hear Joe Biden in his own words. Let me just put this in perspective for you. Yesterday, Joe Biden released a 14-second video telling Donald Trump, I will debate you. Make my day, pal. It took multiple cuts. It took multiple cuts for Joe Biden to speak for 14 seconds to challenge Donald Trump to a debate. Jump cuts, back and forth, 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 back and forth. These pre-recorded videos with all these cuts. You know why they're there? They're there because they got to change the position so you can't actually tell that Joe Biden is incoherent for more than 3 seconds at a time. You got to cut and splice all the film together, and so they do the jump cuts to make it look like it just absolutely ridiculous. This is where we are. They don't want you to hear Joe Biden in his own words go, ting, tang, walla, walla, bang, bang. They don't want you to hear any of that. They don't want you to hear Joe Biden in his own words. They don't want you to hear the context. The transcript is bad enough. The transcript did enough damage. They can't have this story back out in public when Joe Biden is trying to gear up for a debate against Donald Trump that may blow up his campaign. I mean, you know, the thing here with this debate is, so Dana Bash and Jake Tapper are going to be the questioners at the debate. Don't think there's any love lost there between these CNN anchors and Trump. I do think, as far as CNN anchors go, they're going to give a very fair debate. They're going to ask tough questions. But Donald Trump will absolutely be able to scream grievance about it. You know he's going to. Concurrently, they're not going to take it soft on Joe Biden. Neither of these two anchors has ever gone soft on Joe Biden. Oh, you could say that they're going to go after Trump. They're going to give Trump the business. But Tapper is one of the reporters out there who has regularly called out Biden's backflips, walkbacks, belly aches, and hypocrisy on Israel. They don't like him. I mean, the Biden team won't give Jake Tapper an interview, it seems. And so Tapper's going to grill him on the debate stage. So now here's what's coming. I have a hard time believing that Joe Biden is going to be able to hold his own against Donald Trump on a debate stage for an hour and a half to 2 hours under grilling from Jake Tapper and Dana Bash. And Trump has given Biden everything he wants. We'll do it on the network you want. We'll do it without a crowd. We'll do it the format you want. We'll do it in a location you want. He's giving Biden everything Biden wants. If he's given Joe Biden everything Joe Biden wants in terms of a debate format, a debate style, and a debate without an audience to distract or for Trump to feed off of the reactions, and Joe Biden flubs it, there's going to be hell to pay on the Democratic side for Joe Biden. Biden is convinced the polls are wrong. So here's what's interesting to me. There is more polling out now. Bear with me here because you gotta pay attention to this one. Yahoo News has come out with a 1,200 person registered voter pool, and it shows the race is tied nationally. Fox News has come out with an 1,126 registered voter poll, and it shows Donald Trump up 1 nationally. So when you add up the voters statistically, you take the voters in California and New York and Chicago, and you take the voters in Texas and Florida, you take the voters in Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. Nationally, the race is tied. So now take out the people from California and New York and Illinois who are overwhelmingly going to vote for Joe Biden. Sure makes it look like in the states that matter, Donald Trump really is ahead already. The Biden team is convinced the polls are wrong. Most Democratic strategists are convinced the polls are right. So now Joe Biden is refusing to release the audio of the special prosecutor's report, trusting that their prostitutes in the press will run cover for them. And they're not wrong on that. Then he gets to a debate stage at the end of June, and Donald Trump has given Joe Biden every single thing Joe Biden wanted for this debate to happen. And if Joe Biden flubs the first debate, which the history of presidential reelections is that the first debates never go for the incumbent. Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, all of them, even Donald Trump, didn't have a fantastic first debate performance. Because you're president, you're busy, you're distracted. So you have a first debate and it doesn't go Joe Biden's way. That's game over for Joe Biden, probably. They think they'll do it at a time when Americans won't see and he'll have time to recover. I wouldn't bet on that. The public's already turned against you, Joe. The public already has a more favorable perception of Donald Trump's time in the White House. Ugh. It's a risky move, but he has to do it. It's the movie. He has to debate Donald Trump. So you might as well stack it in your favor and do it early enough that you think if something goes wrong, it's recoverable. I think what it's going to do if Joe Biden has a terrible debate performance is it's going to start the drum beat again that, hey, we can still replace him. We can still replace him. We can still replace him. And I don't know that he'll step aside. I genuinely don't know that Joe Biden would step aside. I think he wants to be the Democratic nominee, and I think he thinks that he is the only person who can stop Donald Trump from going back to the White House. I think he's wrong on that. But Joe Biden is arrogant, delusional fool, battling possibly dementia, that the White House counsel in February said Joe Biden has nothing to hide and would not exert executive privilege. And now suddenly means he has everything to hide from the American public about his age, about his stamina, about his ability to speak under tough questioning. And we're all going to see that on stage at the end of June in Atlanta, Georgia, with a CNN debate. And I have a hard time believing it's going to go well for him unless he spends every moment between now and then doing everything he can, including Hunter Biden's cocaine, to try to get himself up to speed and up to snuff to be able to do it. It's a risky move. I got to give it to Biden. It's a very risky move, but it's a risky move made from a play of this is a Hail Mary pass. If he can't pull it off, he might as well step aside.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon. The holidays are here, and you know what that means. It's time to get your friends and family the gifts they deserve. Take the stress out of shopping with Amazon's great deals and low prices on a huge range of items from toys to tech and much more. Whoever you're gifting for, Amazon has great prices on everything you need this holiday season. Shop Amazon for all your gifting needs.
Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the nation. The phone number is 877-973-7425. If you would like to be on the program, I'm happy to have you with me. Well, got to wade back into it. Harrison Butker, the NFL decided it needed to distance itself from his speech, saying they don't agree with him. The city of Kansas City, Missouri, decided to dox Harrison Butker and tell everybody he doesn't live here. Here's where he lives. Yes, those of you listening in Kansas City right now need to know that your fine city's social media account made sure everybody knows where Harrison Butker lives and that he doesn't live in Kansas City. For those of you not familiar, Harrison Butker is the kicker of the Kansas City Chiefs. He is a devout Catholic from Decatur, Georgia, went to Georgia Tech, and now lives out there in the Midwest, and it plays for the Kansas City Chiefs as their kicker. Had a great performance at the Super Bowl that they won, and he gave a speech to Benedictine College, a conservative Catholic college, and said that men need to not be ashamed of being men, and women shouldn't be ashamed of being women, and that he loves his wife, who stays home with the kids, and he couldn't do his job but for her embracing the role of a mother and being a stay-at-home mom, and how valuable it is, and that women shouldn't embrace the lies of society, that they need to go outside and have a career. If they want, they can stay home and be moms. And then he also blasted gender ideology and Pride Month and other things. And oh my gosh, the left literally is trying to get the Kansas City Chiefs to fire him. They want him fired for speaking up. So on the left, they want all of these kids who are chanting death to the Jews to be protected, but Harrison Butker, who supports stay-at-home moms, they want him fired. I got to tell you, I listened to his speech. I'm not Catholic, disagree with that aspect of his speech, but there's a lot in there. I was saying amen. You are a well-grounded soul. Good for you. Do you know there are a whole lot of multimillionaires out there with wives who don't work? And those are the ones screaming the loudest at Harrison Butker. Why? Your wives already don't work. You make so much money they don't have to. You know, I worked 3 jobs at one point in my life so my wife could stay home with the kids. It doesn't work for every woman. Some women would lose their minds if they had to stay home with their kids. I get that. But the society has also slurred the idea of a stay-at-home mom, and it's considered contemptible in some segments of society to be a stay-at-home mom. And ironically, it's most treated with most contempt by a bunch of rich women who don't have jobs because their husbands make so much money, but they have nannies. Now, I got to tell you about Vision Computers. If you go to visioncomputers.com or 404-COMPUTE, Vision Computers can be your IT support. Somebody emailed me this morning and said, what's that computer company that does IT support? And I said, it's Vision Computers, 404-COMPUTE. If your office has computers and you didn't buy them from Vision Computers can still service your computers. Not only service, but your employees will get a special number that they can call and in 15 seconds or less get the answer to what they're doing with their computer if they don't know how to do something. It's not that something's not working. They don't know how to do something. Vision Computers will fix it for them. They can even remote in some cases. 404-COMPUTE. It's $179 a year, not a month, per computer. They can also build you computers. So, and by the way, their tech support comes with the computers they build, so you don't have to pay the extra money. 404-COMPUTE. Their computers are great. We have one at our house. It is fantastic. Tell them Eric sent you. You save even more money. 404-COMPUTE, visioncomputers.com. Great people, great computers, great tech support. Thousands of 5-star reviews on Google.
I'm James McComb, reporting live from home in my bathrobe and slippers. Tonight, we're talking Dunkin' Polar Peppermint Coffee. Gene's here with the latest. Gene, do you copy?
The home with Dunkin' is where you want to be.
Greetings. Welcome. It's Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Let me see if I can do something on the fly here Am I competent and capable enough at all of my own technology stuff? I think I might be. I'm going to go off from what I want to talk about. We might as well circle back to this, even though we spent time on it the other day. All right. I want you to hear this. This is from Benedictine College. This is Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker. Butker's jersey, you should know, on the NFL fan site. His jersey is now one of the top sellers, selling more than Patrick Mahomes' jersey. For those of you who know nothing about football, they play on the same team. Mahomes is the quarterback. Butker is the kicker. He's from Decatur, Georgia, went to Georgia Tech, is the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. He is a devout Catholic. This is part of his speech.
Bad policies and poor leadership have negatively impacted major life issues. Things like abortion, IVF, surrogacy, euthanasia, as well as a growing support for degenerate cultural values in media, all stem from the pervasiveness of disorder. Our own nation is led by a man who publicly and proudly proclaims his Catholic faith, but at the same time is delusional enough to make the sign of the cross during a pro-abortion rally. He has been so vocal in his support for the murder of innocent babies that I'm sure to many people it appears that you can be both Catholic and pro-choice. He is not alone. From the man behind the COVID lockdowns to the people pushing dangerous gender ideologies onto the youth of America, they all have a glaring thing in common. They are Catholic. This is an important reminder that being Catholic alone doesn't cut it. These are the sorts of things we are told in polite society to not bring up. You know, the difficult and unpleasant things. But if we are going to be men and women for this time in history, we need to stop pretending that the Church of Nice is a winning proposition. We must always speak and act in charity, but never mistake charity for cowardice. It is safe to say that over the past few years, I've gained quite the reputation for speaking my mind. I never envisioned myself nor wanted to have this sort of a platform, but God has given it to me, so I have no other choice but to embrace it and preach more hard truths about accepting your lane and staying in it.
Well, he didn't stay in his lane, and they're all upset about it. I actually want to read you the part that's getting the most controversial condemnations from the press and from the left. This is from Harrison Butker's speech. For the ladies present today, congratulations on an amazing accomplishment. You should be proud of all that you've achieved to this point in your young lives. I want to speak directly to you briefly because I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now about to cross the stage and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you're going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you'll bring into the world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to tell you that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and a mother. I'm on this stage today and able to be the man I am because I have a wife who leans into her vocation. I'm beyond blessed with the many talents God has given me, but it cannot be overstated that all of my success is made possible because a girl I met in band class back in middle school would convert to the faith, become my wife, and embrace one of the most important titles of all, homemaker. She's a primary educator to our children. She's the one who ensures I never let football or my business become a distraction from that of a husband and father. She's the person that knows me best at my core. And it is through our marriage that, Lord willing, we will both attain salvation. I say all of this to you because I've seen it firsthand how much happier someone can be when they disregard the outside noise and move closer and closer to God's will in their life. Isabel's dream of having a career might not have come true, but if you ask her today if she has any regrets on her decision, she would laugh out loud without hesitation and say, heck no. That's it. One paragraph in an otherwise very long speech. That is the portion causing the most condemnation. It's not just he took shots at Pride Month and transgenderism and Joe Biden, but those aren't what's causing the biggest source of controversy. The biggest source of controversy is that Harrison Butker praised his wife as a homemaker, leaning into that vocation. That's why he's being condemned. And what it amounts to is this. Harrison Butker makes a lot of money, millions of dollars. And he dared voice a view held by people beneath his station in life. If Harrison Butker was a middle school football coach and said that, nobody would have cared. If Harrison Butker was a conservative talk radio show host, some would complain, but nobody would be out for his job. But Harrison Butker plays in the NFL. He makes 7 figures. He went to Georgia Tech. He's of the elite and had the audacity to voice an opinion that the elite find disdainful, so he must be punished. The National Football League says nothing when players beat their wives and girlfriends, but feels forced to condemn Harrison Butker for praising his wife, for praising the role she plays in his life and that of his children, because it is anathema to the political elite of this country that a woman might want to stay home and raise her children. I know of what I speak. My wife is a stay-at-home mother. And there was a time in my life I was not earning the money I'm earning right now, and I worked 3 jobs so that my wife could stay home with our kids, and this is before we knew she had cancer. I got extra work so my wife could stay home with the kids. And it was like we were falling out of polite society that she might stay home with the kids. And in fact, there are those to this day who would look at my wife with a college degree and an advanced technical degree in computers who stays home with the kids and can't believe she gave it all up for that. What did she give up? My wife has incredible memories with our children, and my children have incredible memories with their mom, and it became all the more meaningful when she was diagnosed with an incurable form of lung cancer that my kids were able to have time with my wife, but she made the decision before all of that. And here's the dirty little secret they don't like, and you know, this is where Megyn Kelly, I very much like. We have a great relationship, but there actually is plenty of data out there that shows that the kids who do best in life are the ones who have a parent who stays home with them while the other works. You're not allowed to say that. You get condemned for saying that sort of thing. I said it on TV. Megyn Kelly got mad at me. She's like, well, all the research says, well, now at this point in life, we all know how a lot of these major institutions do research to affirm the views of the progressive elite. But actually, the Institute for Marriage has a ton of data that shows kids raised in a 2-parent heterosexual household do better than all other kids in life, and those who one of those parents stays home tend to do the best. And by the way, it doesn't have to be the mom, but usually it is. That's the data. You may not like it, but it's the truth. And what I've found is that when you say this sort of thing and it is truth, people come after you ferociously. They deny it. It is a form of outrage that you find with, like, when you debate transgenderism and whether it's real or not, you must be shut up for daring to say the truth. And Harrison Butker not only shared the truth, but Harrison Butker is rising or descending beneath his station in life to take that view. And I'll add all the caveats here. It's not the right decision for some people. I have a number of friends who are moms who love their children, but they would lose their minds if they stayed home all day with the kids. I have some friends who are moms who work during the day when the kids are in school and they know they're never going to get the big promotion in the corner office and things like that, but it's their trade-off. They want to work. They want to have a life, work, home balance. They and their husband are perpetually exhausted at the end of the day with work, but they make ends meet, and they do fine. And oftentimes in this country, thanks to Joe Biden's economy, both parents do have to work. You can't make ends meet right now. But also, there are people like me who worked 3 jobs so my wife could stay home and do a really big, trying, stressful job. which is the full-time care of 2 kids. Then there's the other aspect of this, too, that you got to focus on. It's not just that they disagree with Harrison Butker. Harrison Butker must be punished for daring to say this. I can't tell you the number of times I've had progressives give speeches at colleges, universities, high schools. They give these speeches filled with progressive pablum. Nobody on the right demands they be fired. Nobody on the right demands they lose their job. But God forbid a conservative speak up at one of these institutions and suddenly the whole world comes down on them for daring to be different and to think different and to say different things that people find offensive. I hear plenty of things every day I find offensive, and I'm not out trying to fire the people who offend me. And yet the left can't abide it. Evil preaches tolerance until it's dominant, and then it seeks to silence good. It's Archbishop Chaput, a great quote of his. Evil preaches tolerance until it's dominant, and then it seeks to silence good. We see that on display in things like this. Harrison Butker has a wholesome life with his wife who stays home and raises the kids, and praised her for embracing that vocation and says, ladies, there's no shame in you wanting that instead of a career, and he must be silenced for daring to say that. The world of the left is censorious. The world of the left is one in which you can chant on the sidelines, death to the Jews, and get a pass. But if you say being a stay-at-home mom is kind of awesome, you must be fired from your job. This is the world in which we live. If Harrison Butker were to have beat up his wife, the NFL would have said nothing, but he praised his wife, so the NFL had to condemn him. The city of Kansas City, Missouri had to dox him and tell people where he lived to make sure people know he doesn't live in their city, and they want nothing to do with him. But they're perfectly happy for him to kick a winning field goal at the Super Bowl and make all the money and revenue off of him. They're perfectly happy for that. They just wish he would shut up because, you know, people in his station of life aren't allowed to speak unless they have the views of the people in his station of life. It is raw bigotry and hatred from the political left in this country. He did nothing wrong. And by the way, all the Catholicism in his speech aside, me being the Calvinist Presbyterian, he's right. Now, we can move on. Phone number, 877-973-7425. If you wish to be on the program. China met with the Russians yesterday. It had a big parade. Vladimir Putin and the Chinese president Xi Jinping pretty much showing the world that China is not going to stop helping the Russians in their fight against Ukraine. And also the Chinese are buying up massive, massive gold reserves. The Chinese, I think I read it was yesterday, for every 5 ounces of gold purchased in the world, 4 of the 5 are being purchased by the Chinese. And you know that last remaining one, it's Brazil, Russia, India that are buying most of that. It's crazy how much gold the BRICS are buying because they're looking at the American fiscal cliff, knowing that turmoil is coming, and they're preparing themselves to take advantage of it. Swiss America wants to help you protect your hard-earned assets. Right now, they see what's happening with the BRICS with China, and they want to help you protect your hard-earned assets now because there is this secret war on cash going on, a war against your assets. In fact, it is even against digital currency now. If you call or text my name, Eric, to 800-289-2646, Swiss America is going to teach you how to protect your hard-earned assets, and they're going to give you their report, The Secret War on Cash, completely for free. 800-289-2646. 800-289-2646. All you have to do is mention my name, Eric. You can text my name, Eric, to 800-289-2646. You can also go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric. That's SwissAmerica.com/ERICK. Message data rates may apply.
Blinds.com Cyber Monday Last Chance is happening now. Don't miss out on up to 45% off site-wide. A Blinds.com design expert can help you make the perfect selection on your schedule. We can handle everything from measure to your whole home installed for one low cost. With over 25 million windows covered, Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Save up to 45% site-wide, plus a free professional measure right now at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I am happy to have you. Vicki, you're going to be up first. Welcome.
Hey, Eric. It's so good to talk with you personally. Thank you for the work that you do to keep us informed.
Thank you.
I'm an Atlanta native calling from Northwest Georgia, and I dropped my infant child in the arms of a virtual stranger at the age of 10 weeks while still nursing him. It was the hardest thing I'd ever done. No one in my generation prepared me for the heartbreak. I had it down logistically, but it was the heartbreak. And thankfully, I'm married to a real man who was willing to die for his family, and he had his own business, and he increased his workload so that I could stay home and raise our child ourselves. So kudos to that young man. I'm sure he would be willing to lay his life down for his family as well. Yes, he's in a unique profession where he has all the big bucks, but apparently he's putting his family first in many ways, and I just praise him for using his platform to encourage other young women in today's generation who are not hearing this from the general media.
Well, look, I appreciate you saying that a ton. I really do. Thank you so much for that. It really is just, remarkable, the rage out there for him saying this. It's also, by the way, it's okay to disagree with him, but do you really need to force the NFL to come out, and do you really need to try to get him fired? Really? Greg, you're up next. Welcome.
Hey, Eric. Happy graduation days.
Thank you very much.
I just left my son's baccalaureate this morning at the best Christian school in Ackworth area, and thought about your comments. And I've read the entire speech from Harrison, and I think the definition of homemaker is very narrow. I've spent the last 5 years watching women, majority stay-at-home moms, and it's a lot more than bathing babies and wiping bottoms and feeding them. They lead in so many ways, and so many of them have taken past career tracks to give back to their community and their schools. We had to do this because our kids are special needs with dyslexia, and my wife has become an advocate and has campaigned and advocated at the state capitol, and I've watched other moms do other things. It is so much beyond this narrow box definition. It's really kind of a shame that people think of that.
Yeah, look, I agree with you completely. It really it is not an easy job to be a stay-at-home mom. And in fact, we during lockdown we really thought, maybe we could try homeschooling, and nope, definitely not. Trying to help our kids. So, you take the mom who stays home with the kids, and then on top of that is also doing like homeschooling with the kids. Good Lord. It is a full-time.
God bless those people. I tell you,
yes,
that's a calling of its own.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Greg, listen, thanks for the phone call. Yeah, it's remarkable. This hour of the program brought to you by First Liberty Building and Loan. Wherever you are nationwide, First Liberty can help your business grow. By the way, they told me the other day, they're also, one of the things they've started specializing in is equipment loans. They had a client who needed a Mack truck. It was like $250,000, and they were able to do this equipment loan and get it turned around in a week because they make their own decisions. If you're in a business, now their qualifications and stuff, reach out to First Liberty if you're in a business, firstlibertyga.com, firstlibertyga.com. All their contact info is there, firstlibertyga.com. Should you wish to be a part of their network, they'd love to have you. When we come back, Nakba. You're hearing a lot about it today, probably. I want to explain to you what it is because, my goodness, if you listen to the media today, you're not going to hear exactly what Nakba is, and you need to know the truth.